Now, lifeadministration.com presents the Life Administration Podcast. Here are your hosts, Leslie Loftus and Ryan Taylor.
Today, on a very special episode of Life Administration, we talk about the future, the pitfalls, the possibilities, and we look to vision to see what happens next. Hello, everybody. My name is Ryan Taylor, and with me, as always, is
Leslie Loftus. Hello.
I'm sure.
So, as y'all know, Ryan and I are, our longtime listeners know, Ryan and I are big Buffy fans. And one of the things that used to happen when Buffy was still a live show is the WB, the network it was on. Oh my gosh, there was always, Buffy never did this, but all of the Dawson's Creek, it was always a very special episode of Dawson's Creek.
On a very special holiday episode, Mitch
Always
comes
like
back
that.
from the dead. Like, what? When? No, it's so funny too because first off, man, if you guys haven't been watching WandaVision, like
I haven't. I need to.
Okay. Well,
is it all a very special episode?
Well,
the very special episodes were the things that like something unusual happened,
right,
which we're going to talk about in just a second.
On this, I think it was last
first.
week or the week before. The title of because WandaVision is all about sort of like paying tribute to like tropes of TV.
Okay.
So the actual episode,
I need to be watching.
Yeah,
this.
the actual name of the episode was A Very Special Episode.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent.
Right, and then they have like another episode that's like just called Previously On. Right, so you have like all
previously
these
on.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Previously on Life Administration, we talked about administrating life.
Yes.
Right? So that sort of thing. But so today, like, we're totally breaking from the format. This is we sort of kind of went back and forth. Like, is this a standalone episode? Is it all by it? Is it something
announcement at the end?
Announcement?
But we tried to stick it in at the end of one of the episodes, and we ran out of time.
Yep.
So we're going to change. One of the things we've been talking about on some of the, 201 episodes or 202 stuff when we're talking about additional things. And there's been a few episodes that have touched on the thing that everybody knows, the pandemic changed everything.
Yep.
That also applies to us. So we're kind of looking for, and we had been looking for a while, and then we had some plans on exactly how we were going to do this. And then, of course, the pandemic threw wrenches into that works too. So we haven't actually pulled the trigger on any of this stuff, which is not so bad because it's also changed. Like as you get a little further along, it keeps morphing a little bit. So we're trying to fine tune it and figure. Anyway, we wanted to talk to you about the new ways that we're going to be available.
Yeah.
The new ways that you're going to be able to find us and how we can discuss and build a community of people because a lot of this stuff that we talk about, or all of this stuff we talk about really, is practical skills, and you can get lots of good advice and just, okay, well, this is how it worked for me when I try to do that kind of stuff. You notice we've even done some of those episodes, especially at the beginning when Ryan and Sean basically got a mega dose of life administration stuff at the beginning and then came back about 12 episodes in. And, this is what happened when they tried to implement these things.
Mm-hmm.
Well, pretty sure all of our listeners have similar story. We want to be able to share that information because what works for this person might also work for this listener person in a way that I've not experienced yet. And so I haven't really spoken to that.
Yeah.
Or maybe you have questions. And
yep.
So we're changing it up a bit.
And sometimes somebody can just say something in a certain way that just strikes with you for some reason, right?
Mm-hmm.
You may hear a certain phrase or you need to do it a certain way, right? And then all of a sudden somebody says something that just absolutely clicks with you. Yeah, that speaks to me, right? So I think ultimately what we're trying to do is build this community.
Right.
And so what we have been discussing is what are the ways that we can do that?
Right.
What are the platforms that make sense? But before we go into the platforms and the things that make sense, I think it's important to sort of set the expectation when it comes to what do we want from you guys?
Right.
Okay. And so what do we want from you guys? Well, we have decided that our format lends itself to this idea of AM radio. So you might not know what AM radio is, unfortunately.
Old talk radio.
Yeah, it's old talk radio, but there is it's everything that is old is new again.
Isn't
So
it?
it's like all of a sudden, like you're listening to these podcasts, or you're listening to like the podcasts that, and I've never listened to them, and I need to start, but these podcasts that tell stories.
Oh, I
right?
love those. Those are my
Right?
favorites.
But hello, that started in like the 30s on
Yes.
AM radio. You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? But there's something about listening to a story that can be engaging, right? And
Right.
so the idea is we want to have an AM radio talk show that requires interaction from you guys.
Right.
And
Which is also kind of the AM radio call-in talk show
Right.
format, except these days with technology, the call-in flexibility is greater.
exactly.
And both the quality is better and the flexibility is greater. So, you know, some of this, we didn't even realize it, but some of the reason I think that we hadn't pulled the trigger, as we come up with this idea, all of a sudden the platforms are kind of developing that we need. So it's
Right.
kind of like, oh, there's that. It would really help if I had a tool that was, you know, a wrench or sonic wrench kind of thing. And then all of a sudden somebody comes out with an app that's kind of the sonic wrench I was looking for, you know?
Right. Yeah, exactly. So what ends up happening is that, like I talked about, we're wanting to build this community. We want you guys to be involved in it. And I think also too, what you're going to see is this idea of, we are absolutely keeping our Monday podcast. Like that. That's the term I always use is like, you got to dance with the girl that brought you. Right. and the girl that brought us in this situation is our podcast. You know, thousands of listeners now. We are on this format. It's really good for us. But I think what we also want, and it's our hearts, is to connect with people. And I think if anything,
I'm really not fully satisfied with talking at y'all.
yeah, right. Like that.
And
it's enjoyable in the sense of, yes, we're giving information. We've gotten feedback from lots of people that say, yeah, we really enjoyed that episode, or I really like that thing you said.
Ryan and I are good friends and we like talking with each other. I mean, this is not a world's smallest violin. We're not suffering here.
Yeah, right.
But we want to engage with
right,
y'all.
exactly. Because we think that there's more to offer too. And I think there's no way for Leslie to sit down and put a fantastic show together, put all of these notes out, but then, you know, someone in Albuquerque, New Mexico has a question that we didn't cover.
Right.
And maybe it's been sitting, or maybe they went to then Google it, and maybe they got some information that was not so great because of a clickbait or something like that.
Trust,
right. They don't have trust or something like that. So long story short, we want to create a group type of setting. With that being said, with this idea of AM talk radio with the call-in format mixed in. Now, with that being said, I know that we're going to have to find our way on some of this stuff. And I think, you know, so one of the platforms that we're going to use, just because it's so big, will be Twitch.
Yes.
Now, I don't necessarily think that like that's the platform that is our end all be all, but that is certainly a gateway in for us to grab people that maybe otherwise hadn't heard of us, right? But
are interested in this kind of information.
Yeah.
And also Twitch, unlike the others that we've got, it has video.
Right.
You know, so we can interact with you
via video. Right.
And we want to keep that element in, even though most of our listeners do listen to the podcast, not through YouTube. Even then, YouTube's not engaging at all.
Yeah.
You know, because you just watch a video.
Yep.
On Twitch, you can interact with the video. And so that's what we're going now. Interestingly enough, both Twitch and Discord that we're going to talk about in a second, they all started out as
Justin TV.
No, gaming platforms.
Oh, sorry. Okay, you didn't tee me up for that.
I didn't tee you up for that. Sorry.
But when I had a gaming website in Oregon before Twitch was Twitch, we had signed a deal with them when they were looking for people to come on, right? Like we need people to like fill this platform. And at that time they were called Just In TV. And it wasn't even really geared towards gaming at that point. But then they found out, man, gamers like, you know, they love this sort of stuff. And so they really went in that direction. They rebranded themselves as Twitch TV.
So now for 10 years or so, gamers have been testing it, basically beta testing the thing for how can we get together and have a virtual community. In their case, they were talking about whatever game they were playing. But now everybody's kind of like, especially after pandemic stuff, Well, actually, that'll work for talking about, say, neighborhood issues.
Yeah.
That'll work for talking about, say, I mean, come up with whatever you want,
Yeah.
how to, basic cooking lessons, what works for a lot of things.
Yeah.
And so both of the platforms are expanding greatly outside of their original gaming boundaries.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, the ability that you have on Discord to be able to like stream in even with somebody with a webcam and like, I mean, like 4 years ago, pre-pandemic, honestly, pre-pandemic, like the technology isn't available for us to be able to do something like that we want to do. But one of the blessings,
although we had kind of thought about it, like we thought of when we were trying to come up with the original setup for our okay, well, we're going to do a video that we put up on YouTube, and then we rip out the audio and we set that as a podcast. If Discord and or Twitch had this kind of functionality then 4 years ago when we were designing this, we would have done that.
And that's one of the blessings from the pandemic is that while Zoom meetings and Skype and all of that stuff, like we all have fatigue in all of those areas, but it does allow us to connect with people that we wouldn't normally be able to connect. Right. So, if you're sitting in your living room in Georgia right now, or you're driving in Georgia and you want to call in and talk to us, well, before the pandemic, we probably couldn't do that.
Right.
But now we absolutely can.
Absolutely.
And it's our heart to know you guys. Honestly, like it drives me insane to think that there's thousands of people that listen to the podcast, and yet
we don't know. We get new people that sign up on the website and subscribe and stuff. And for a while, first of all, the website was sending me like it would populate your names with random, like, orange picture frame or something.
And I'm not even sure that was fake. Like, I think that might just be what people were putting, So anyway, we want that. We want that level of interaction with you guys. I think that's so important for where we're going.
And then I want to say one thing about Zoom fatigue and other such. I also think that things like Zoom fatigue are more significant when you can actually meet in person. So I'm done with church Zoom meetings at this point, especially since most of the people I know at this point have either, or most of the adults, not kids, most of the adults I know have either had their COVID jabs or have had it.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm getting to a very large percentage of my cohort that for whatever reason, you don't need to worry about this stuff that much. Right. So if you have the option to gather together, Zoom fatigue is particularly bad. But here we are, Life Administration. Y'all are all over. We're in Houston. Y'all are all over the place.
All over the world.
All over the world. Exactly. So we don't have the option together. So then there's less virtual fatigue because, virtual is our option.
Right.
Right. It's not our secondary option. Right. It is our primary option. Right.
Yeah. So that's a great thing. And I think we have learned to embrace that. That's us just sort of keeping our eyes peeled, reading the tea leaves, if you will, trying to understand what the best way is going forward. So we want to talk a little bit about, what does that look like? So the idea is on Thursdays, that's typically the day that we record the podcast, and then it goes up on Monday. You guys probably know that by now. Then after we're done recording, that we spend some time doing what we're calling like Happy Hour Thursday.
Right.
And Happy Hour Thursday is going to be the way that we have it set now. And
we might modify it as we get into it, and this worked or this didn't.
Right. It is that we will go back, number one, and we'll sort of look at some of our most popular episodes.
The early ones, the basic essential information.
Yeah, that really resonated with some folks and stuff like that.
Insurance 101. It'll be on there.
It'll be on there, right? So we can kind of pull some of those major topics out of those things, and we can talk about it. We can have a good chuckle about ourselves and like mistakes that we made, or boy, I wish, so like the idea is that it's going to be light. Like, I don't want you to come in here being like, well, they're going to be super serious, and if I don't stay on top like that, that's not who we are. We're people that want to connect, and ultimately the topic is less important than the connection or the helping of life administration That's more important.
Right. We're going to start off with the old episode and kind of keying off the old episode, adding some extra, color commentary, if you will, on either the topic of the episode or, I don't know how ridiculous my hair looked or something.
Right.
Sorry, I got a haircut.
The long cut, the long hair episode.
Exactly.
Yeah,
the long hair episodes. So we'll be light and stuff like that. But then as people come in, we'll let the conversation flow as the conversation needs to flow.
Absolutely. Right. Absolutely. The other thing that I want you to keep in mind is if we're doing an episode on, I don't know, we'll say Insurance 101 because we've been talking about it a lot today.
We just recorded the insurance claims episode.
Yeah. Right. Which was super great.
Yeah.
Super awesome.
That went well. Mm-hmm.
And I think probably what you're getting just by doing this, our very special episode, is you're probably getting a sense of like, this is how it's going to go. Like we're kind of, I don't want to say we're all over the place.
So I usually have show notes that, I write up and then I give to Ryan. So we kind of like stay on target. Right. And show notes are, you can see them
on the
pretty
website.
Much I cut and paste the show notes at the bottom of the website when we're done in the episode post. Okay. For this very special episode, I was like, we're just going to talk. And he's like, really? You don't have any notes? Like,
none.
Yeah, none. And he's like, and I'm like, well, I know what I want to say, but I don't know what I want to say. And he's like, that's not so great.
Okay. Hold on a second. So hear me when I say this, because for a while we're like, let's get on Instagram. Let's get on Instagram and
it's not a platform I get. I just don't get it.
And we're going to record these like 5 to 6 minute shorts of what's going on. Okay. Listen to me when I tell you that it would take longer to record a 5-minute short than an entire video and audio podcast, edit it and throw it up on YouTube.
Yep.
I mean, that's
no,
right.
Seriously.
Right.
Because we had the problem, like the 5-minute shorts would be a mix. Because then you try to script them a little bit and then you don't get it in under because, Instagram has time limits. So if you're getting close to the time limit, it's amazing how quickly you can run over. And then, no, we didn't like the lighting on that. When we were trying to do the Instagram stuff, it was a pain in the butt, really.
Felt stilted.
And it felt stilted. And we're trying to have the conversational thing with our audience, but it's still just talking at you.
Yeah.
I mean, it grated. It just was wrong.
Yeah. And we're at the point with our content where we can go back and examine some of the old stuff. We can take a look at.
I don't know. I think I'm going to cringe, but okay.
Guaranteed cringe will happen.
Yeah.
No
on
question.
the video, not on the discussion.
I mean, maybe a little bit.
Okay. You're the one that's listened to them more often than I have, so I'll go with you on that. It's
usually me. I'm like, oh, well, there's my accent, or I started over this word and I had no business, whatever. Anyway, so again, this is where this is coming from. It's about connection, and so we're gonna start with this happy hour Thursday. We're sort of planning it around 5 p.m. Central Time. Mm-hmm. We're going to figure out like the timing and all that, how it goes, but you can expect it around that time. Then what we're going to do is we're going to play an old episode. Like I talked about, we're going to kind of rewatch it, but you don't have to say things that are necessarily about that episode. What this format is going to do, and what I'm really excited about, because there's an area that I think I can contribute in this format in a way that maybe I can't on the podcast, is that when we're on the podcast, like we're talking very tactical things, right? Like you want to do this, you want to do this, you want to do that, you want to do that. And it's great. It's awesome. And it's perfect. And my personality is much more of a mindset kind of personality. Like I think about how should I be internalizing whatever I'm dealing with.
Or what attitude should you have?
Yeah, what attitude
And if you'll
should I
notice,
have?
if you think through some of the episodes, you'll be like, Ryan's always adding some extra comments
about your mindset.
Yes.
Right?
Think about how you're approaching the problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Half full, half empty, giving grace or not.
Right.
All of these kind of, which matter.
Yeah. And they do. They absolutely do. And especially when it comes to interacting with people and like, that's really where I'm going to be able to lend some more credence to the content. And I'm really excited about that. I'm really excited about that. So we're going to be on Twitch. We're going to put links in the description because as we're going through this, we haven't finalized all of the stuff yet,
right?
But we're going to be on Twitch. We're going to be on Discord. And then I'm going to throw to you for this last one because I'm still not sure, because For what? Because Clubhouse hates me.
Clubhouse doesn't hate you.
They hate Android.
Clubhouse is in beta, and so you have to have an iPhone to join. So if any of our listeners happen to be there, I am there, and I am going to be opening a club for life administration kind of stuff. And then as soon as they're not in beta, I will bring Ryan in, and we'll kind of go from there. So the general plan is Clubhouse is an audio only app. So it's kind of like Twitch where you can come in and you can have a room or a listserv.
Discord, you mean? It's like Discord.
Okay. Yes. Like
Yeah.
Discord.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. I said the wrong one. Pardon me. So it's kind of like Discord. But it's audio only. Right now it's invite only. But you would go into so let's say we had the happy hour that we're the Thursday happy hour.
Yeah.
So we can actually we can stream the Thursday happy hour on both Clubhouse and Discord and Twitch. Right. So we can, and also if anybody's like, well, wait a second, no, you can't record on Clubhouse. I can if I notify. So if that's part of the club that I've made that we're actually cross streaming it. And so when you're coming into the room that we're recording it in both places, then that's fine. So yes.
This line may be recorded.
Yes, this precisely.
Yep.
This line may be recorded for future.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Precisely that. So we will be able to be on each of those platform. So please, if you are on Clubhouse already, you can find me there. That one will probably be the last one that we bring online just because Ryan's not there yet. But for the most part,
it's not that I'm not there yet.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not there with me.
They're not there. They're not right with you.
They're
Ryan.
not right with me, man. And every other Android user that's out there. And we matter, dude.
But so on Thursdays, we will be live on Twitch. We will also cross stream it to the other platforms, but the one that we will be at the most often is Discord.
Yes.
You will be able to also, if it's 11 o'clock at night and you're going through your closet and you're just like, you know what, I'd like to ask that question. You will be able to go on our Discord channel and you can, send us a question or whatever. Yep. Right. If anybody else is there and can answer it, they can help you out with it. That's the one where we'll be all the time.
Yeah.
So pretty much at the end of the episodes now, all of our contact information is going to be find us on our Discord server.
Yeah.
We will have the Discord server up in the top right of the website.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have it down in the show notes on this episode so that you'll be able to quickly find us. For anybody who's used Slack, Discord is kind of like Slack, except less office-y.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, if given my thing, I prefer Slack, but for some reason, Discord is easier to train. Slack groups either make or they don't make, and it happens in like a week. So let's say you decide, okay, we want to move this, we're going to move our office chat stuff to Slack. So you've got all the email integration, you can share files and stuff. It's all great. Okay. If it doesn't happen in a week that everybody adopts it, it's not going to happen. Discord seems to be more socialite. I'm not really sure why, because with the exception of some optics, they're very similar. Okay, you have a thought about that?
Oh, no,
I'm
for
curious.
sure. No,
I'm curious.
I mean, because I've used both, right? And Slack, like you said it right in the beginning. Slack is like your office professional team sort of base,
right?
Employee kind of driven thing.
Yes.
Discord is people and passion.
Okay.
People, you're joining topics that you're passionate about and that you want to talk about. And so
your Slack is your virtual office.
Right.
Right. Which if you're not in a brick and mortar office, it's actually quite helpful.
Yeah. No, for sure.
And it does have more functionality, but you're right. That's it. Discord is social.
Even in the way
Slack
that they do
office.
their messages, everything is playful and funny and like even the way
you
that
get custom
Wampus
emojis,
doesn't have any friends or something. Yeah, custom emojis. Like there's a lot more playfulness to it, which I think is the reason. And
that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think also too, Discord integrated voice and video before Slack did. I think that was another piece of it. But even still, the regardless is people want to talk about things that they're passionate about. Right. At the end of the day, Discord is the place for passion in different areas, right? Ours happens to be life administration. If you looked at my Discord server list on mine, it's like it's gaming, it's NASA, it's like I mean like all these like weird things that I want to talk about, So that's why. So if we can paint the picture in Technicolor, what it looks like. Okay, so we've talked about the vision, what we want to do. Let's talk about what it looks like. So we do the episode, and then you would use Discord or Clubhouse to talk to us.
Right.
So it would be just like on a radio show. You'd come in, you'd get into the queue, and we'd say, okay, we'd have a list of callers, hopefully. And we would just move you into
and
the
Ryan
show
will
with us.
Ryan will be the main moderator for those things. So
and
we'll either move you to the podium, or we're waiting to see exactly how all of these things integrate together, because Ryan will need to have basically 3 feeds in front of him of people that are trying, because we're going to let you choose how you interact. Yeah.
It's going to be cool. So we're going to have to, it probably will be a 3 monitor kind of thing. We have to work through all of that sort of stuff. But that's just an afternoon of research more than anything else.
Ryan apparently already does this for his church when they live stream services. And then he's got the Facebook feed and the YouTube feed.
I got the Subsplash feed. I got it all. Again, that's a product of the pandemic, right? Like this whole skill set, I wouldn't have probably gotten into, but but now for a time like this, right?
Yeah, for a time like this, here it is, and now we're going to use it this way.
Yeah,
so it's pretty awesome.
So we'll have that communication. Now, maybe someone doesn't want to call in, right? Maybe they're not so cool. We're going to have a live Discord chat that is just about the show. If you want to type in a question, that's totally cool. We're going to field that. If you're on Twitch and you want to write something in the Twitch chat, we're going to field that. So I'll be reading, I'll be listening, and we're going to get as encompassed as we possibly can. Now, the one thing that worries me is we do kind of have a schedule for this, that the idea is that the episode we want it to be around 90 minutes or so, not like a hard and fast rule, but there are days, just because we're 2 people doing life administration, where there are days where, hey, we got to end early, or we can't have it today, or whatever. Right. And so we're going to look to get that traction. But if we have a day where we have 4 calls and it's, we've been going for an hour and a half, it's not disrespect towards to y'all or anything. Like, we just might not be able to get to everyone. Like that happens, it certainly happened to me when I was streaming. And I only had like 25, 30 people watching me, and it'd be 1:00 at night, and I would have 40 something messages to go through. And I'd be like, y'all, I gotta go. I'm so sorry. Especially in those situations where, someone like donated or something like that. And you sort of feel obligated to get to them. But I want to kind of set that expectation first. We're looking to do an hour and a half. And
that's his worry is kind of tangential to my worry of the one reason that it hasn't happened yet. We haven't even run it on Twitch yet. Mostly because of pandemic stuff and we couldn't meet. But I want to make sure once we start it that we're actually reliably there every Thursday.
Yep.
That's going to be hard for us.
Yeah.
That's going to be hard for us.
Yep.
So I'm a little nervous about that, to commit to not only an hour and a half every Thursday, but an hour and a half at generally the same time. Because usually on Thursdays when Ryan is here for recording day and for music lesson day, he's here for like 7 or 8 hours. And we do have a general schedule that we follow of, okay, we record one podcast and then he does a music lesson and then record another podcast and then he does some posting and website work. And, we've got that shifts all the time.
Yeah. It happened today, right?
But what's going to happen is the happy hour, the Thursday happy hour, will be a fixed point in there. Yep. That makes us nervous.
Yep. That makes us nervous because we like to zig and zag in this group. So, so we're going to be as consistent as we possibly can. And I think if you're listening,
we ask for a little grace if we're not completely consistent.
What I think is cool, if you're listening to this very special episode, is that you're going to get to see the evolution of it with us, right? And so I think this is an encouragement to those that are out there that are wanting to try something new, something different, something that maybe you have an idea, around, but, by no stretch of the imagination are we experts on how to implement this. No. But at some point, you just got to say, go. You just got to
do it.
You just got to say go. Because you can do all the research in the world, but until you actually put pen to paper or voice to microphone in this case, or eyes to camera.
Don't let the perfect get in the way of the good.
Yes. one of the best sayings that have ever come out of your mouth.
It's not mine.
Right.
It's not mine, but apparently he first heard it from me. So.
Hey, if you say it 3 times, it's yours.
Okay.
That's the rule.
That's the rule.
First time you give the credit. Second time you say somebody's told me once. Third time I say.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
So I think yes, I hope this is an encouragement to help people go on journeys of things that they're starting, that they're wanting to do that maybe they haven't done. You can start your project right alongside us. We could have a Discord channel for just your projects, right? What someone's working on, right? And
we can easily have a channel for that.
Yep.
So for those of you not familiar with exactly how Discord works, is that you would go onto our server. So that's the server's called the Life Administration Podcast. So you would find the server, and when you get on the server, there's an intro thing that'll give you some of our like rules, and because everybody's got to have community rules. Be nice to each other, engage arguments, not people, all that kind of stuff.
Because I will swing the ban hammer so fast.
Oh yes. So you've got all of those things, and then we'll have separate. So there will be just discussing the podcast. So you have questions about life administration itself, and then we can easily have a channel that's just like, toot your own horn kind of thing. This is what you do. This is the kind of stuff that you're interested in, and let people get to know you and everything.
I foresee, my dream scenario is a year from now, season 3 of The Mandalorian is coming out, and I could go into the Discord and say,
and there's half a dozen people that want to discuss The Mandalorian.
Yep. Or even more so, that want to watch it. Let's watch it together. Let's do it. Right.
Cool.
Right. So like, we're going to watch that. And then after it's done, we're going to talk just like friends would talk about an episode. Right. And I'm just using that example to be silly because, we're Star Wars fans. Right. But the idea is it doesn't have to be sort of locked into just this Thursday happy hour. It's not like the Discord hops on Thursday and then dies off for the rest of the week. Right?
You can use it whenever you
want.
All
the time. We're going to be there all the time. And I think what the best ideas happen when you write them down, right? So something pops in your head, boom, you can write it down. Maybe you have an episode idea, and it's, like you said, it's 11 o'clock on a Wednesday and you're doing your closet. Or
gosh, I'd really love to know how to do it. And all of a sudden I'm like, well, I can definitely do an episode out of that. Actually, that would be very helpful if y'all would do, because one of the things I sometimes find, I feel like sometimes I've said it already.
Yeah.
And I forget that maybe people didn't listen, haven't heard the episode. New people maybe didn't listen to the old episodes or what. Like, it's okay if I repeat some things.
Yeah.
Also, with these practical skills, a little bit of repetition can help you. Oh, that's right. I need to remember 1, 2, 3 motion storage.
Right.
Right. But when I'm coming up with the episodes, I've already done that. I shouldn't do that. So sometimes I have a hard time. Ryan knows I'm kind of like, I don't know what we're going to record today. And then something will come along. It would happen today. All of a sudden he's like, oh, well, I had to do this insurance claim. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
An episode on insurance claims. Give me 20 minutes. I'll be upstairs and type away because, I've now done a lot of insurance claims. I can kind of do that one pretty quickly, but
which is sad, but yes.
I didn't make the show notes for the insurance claim episode until the day of.
Yeah.
At the beginning it was really easy. Okay, well, I need to teach them about calendars, need to teach about to-do lists, need to teach basic calls. I mean, all of those topics were really easy to come up with. Household budget. Oh, absolutely. That was episode 2. Now we're 60 some odd episodes in, and it's kind of like, okay. Yeah. So please send your suggestions.
Yeah.
I'm happy to answer them.
So do you have anything else that you would want to say on our very special episode of Life Administration?
I look forward to virtually meeting some of our excited listeners.
Yeah. Same here. I echo that 100%. And I feel the same way. Like, that's all I have to say is I'm ready to engage, and I'm ready to talk, and to open up the lines of dialogue and have a great conversation about what you guys are going through right now. May not always have the answers, but
I know. And I can't tell you how many times I'm out and about and somebody mentions something along the lines of, oh shoot, I don't know how to do that. Whether it's, making a new budget or filing an insurance claim, or, there's so many skills and stuff that we've taught, our basic cooking, this, that, and the other. Gosh, I really wish I knew how to do that. I really wish somebody taught that. I'm out all the time and somebody brings up something, or maybe they're talking about, their kid who's newly out of college, and because that's, my age group where we're kind of are, newly out of college. Gosh, they had to sign their lease, but they didn't know about this, and this. And here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are. That's what we do.
That's it. That's where we're at. Mm-hmm. So our whole closing is going to change. Normally,
we don't know what it's going to sound like unless he's just come up with it.
I think I got
it. He's looking bright-eyed, so I'm loving this. No. Go for it.
So yeah, normally you would hear, if you've enjoyed, or if you listen to this episode. But honestly, it's going to be simple right now. Come to our Discord and talk with us. We want to hear from you. Right? Come to our Twitch. So if you're listening to this episode right now, number one, I think a smaller amount of people will click on a title that says very special episode, right? Just because it doesn't say this is the topic and episode number, right? It's going to be.
Maybe we'll put a colon in the actual topic. All right, fine. I'll go for that.
Right. That stop what you're doing. Unless you're driving, there is 3 links in the description that have never been there before. That the first time that they're going to be there are on this episode. That's going to be Discord. That's going to be Twitch. That's going to be Clubhouse, right?
Find us.
Click the Discord. We might have some steps that you have to do to get registered, because I think that's important. Follow the steps, maybe just 2 or 3, take 2 seconds. Follow us on Twitch. Enable notifications, so that way if you're not familiar with Twitch, download the app. It's super easy. I know it looks very gamified and all that stuff. Just bear with it. There's a category called Just Chatting. That's the category that we're going to be in. But follow us. Click that heart icon just to enable notifications, so we're going to be on. Once that notification comes live, within about 5 minutes is when we're going to be going live. That's kind of my ideal lead time is to ping someone and then go. And then lastly, the Clubhouse link will be there, right? All of these 3 things are all feeding into this idea of just communicating with us. They're just different avenues to get there. We're just trying to make it as accessible as possible. So that's all I have.
Excellent.
That's all I have.
We look forward to this, everybody. Yep. We're kind of excited about it. A little nervous.
Yep. But follow us on Discord. Follow us on Twitch. Hit that heart icon and keep the Clubhouse warm with the fireside chat. I don't know. I got to come up with something for Clubhouse. I was just trying to hit it on the fly. I don't even know, man. It's I think Fireside's another app too. So sorry.
I think it is.
I think so. It's Cuban's deal, actually. Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching this very special episode of Life Administration. And we will literally see you in the next one. Take care, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.